minutes or so, and then we'll climb up the hill and go look at the view from up there. You can see the whole valley down below. Death Valley was made a national park. It was signed in to be a national park by Bill Clinton in 1994. Prior to that, it was considered a national monument. It was not an actual national park. But the reason it got its name, Death Valley, was because in the late 1800s, there was a wagon train coming through here, a bunch of wagons following each other. And as they came through, they ended up breaking a wheel and one of their wagons, and they all stopped and tried to fix this wheel, and they got stuck out here for a while, and one of the guys died. And rumor has it, when they were leaving, there's like journals and stuff, one of the ladies had written, "Goodbye Death Valley, we won't miss you at all." So they buried one of their people out here, and it got that name, and it just kind of stuck. As we come in, you'll start seeing some of the colors, all this natural color in the rock from all the minerals, the greens and the reds, the iron, the chlorite. There was a Air Force pilot that just died out in the canyon. There's an area back there called Dante's Viewpoint, and there's a canyon. They call it Star Wars Canyon because it looks like the beginning of Star Wars, one of the first ones when they're fighting in the canyon, and it looks like that. And a lot of the jets will go out there and do training out there, and one of the jets crashed like about 3 weeks ago, sadly. And it was a veteran that had been flying for a long time. He just miscalculated inside that canyon and crashed. Out here you're really seeing these incredible colors up here. That's all natural. A lot of that white back there, that's all sandstone. Gets formed and shaped by the wind and the rain and erosion, just natural erosion that creates a lot of these shapes you'll see. Sea level, you'll see a bunch of signs that say sea level on the valley floor, and then we'll go down to Badwater Basin. We'll be 282 feet below sea level.
Last time I was here, I was just amazed at the colors.
Oh yeah, the colors are so vibrant. You'll see all this green and red and the white sandstone, and they all just mix together. It's really beautiful.
Have you ever done sunset at at Artist Palette?
No. Were you there at sunset?
Yeah.
No.
The original plan was to rent a car and be there at golden hour, but it didn't work
That'd be
out.
perfect.
Maybe I'll look out next time.
Yeah. This is Zabriskie Point. So we'll park here and we're gonna walk up that hill right there. People want to drive up all the time, but there's big posts in the middle of the road, so I can't drive up there. I always have people go, "Can you drive us up?" I'm like, no. No four-wheeling allowed in the Mercedes Sprinter. It's actually good that we're here, that we're doing it backwards, because otherwise we'd be here in the extreme heat. So. Then we'll go up through a really beautiful canyon and we'll go up to Artist Palette after that. And we have to get out of the car, of course, to take pictures, but it's not that far. You can look at Artist Palette and see everything right there from the parking lot. So we don't have to go too far. That was our biggest hike.
It's like 20 feet, 25 feet.
Yeah, not too far. If, when we go down to Badwater Basin, if you would like to go out, there's like some salt flats out there. If you do want to go walk out on the salt flats, I'll walk down to the main part where it says where you are and the lowest point in the U.S., continental U.S., and it tells all this stuff. And I'll take pictures of you guys there. If you want to walk out onto the salt flats, I highly recommend that you take some water with you and don't stay out there too long. Same thing at Badwater Basin, where we're going, has some natural hot springs that they're not really hot springs, they're natural springs that come up. There's like a little lake. It's getting more and more dried up over the years. It used to be a lot fuller. And the reason it's called Badwater is because there was a guy traveling through here on a horse. He had a horse and a wagon, and when he came to Badwater Basin, he saw that fresh spring bubbling up, and his horse drank it and died very soon afterwards. And then they found out that water it's not toxic necessarily, but it's not potable. It's not not for drinking. There's some salt in it, like a lot of salt. So it's almost like salt water, but they ended up calling it Badwater Basin. I think there's little signs up that say not to drink it. You see all this chlorite in this rock right here. It makes a lot of green. I love that. Very pretty. Very unique rock formations around here. Telescope Peak is, I think, 11,500 feet. Almost 11,000 feet, something like that. It's a little shorter than Mount Charleston over in Vegas. Telescope Peak, all of that out there is, there's a lot of mining that they used to do out there, and there's some old mines in those mountains. People hike in. There's like secret areas. It's wooded up there. You can't tell from here, but there's a lot of big ponderosa pines, and it's wooded up there. And so those are the Panamint Mountains, and on the other side of the Panamint Mountains is called Panamint Valley. And then on the other side of that are the Sierras. So if you got up on top of those mountains and you looked out and saw the next mountain range out there across Panamint Valley, that would be the Sierra Mountains, the Sierra Nevadas. They do a race, I believe, in the fall, like late fall. Somebody told me it was in the summer. I have to look it up. I'm sure it's not in the summer. But it goes from the lowest point in the valley. It's called like low to high or high to low or something like that. It goes from the lowest point in the U.S., which is Badwater Basin, up to the highest point in the U.S., which is Mount Whitney, which is 14,900 feet. So it's the highest point in the continental U.S. I think.
Not like house kitties.
No. Also, if they're not afraid of cars and people, they think of cars as a food source, then they can get hit because they're not afraid to come out here onto the road.
Maybe I was on this road because I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did come down here.
You did come down here? Well, if you saw Artist Palette, then you had to come down here because that's off this road down here. All the salt was real slick. It's very slippery. It's almost like clay. It's weird. And when I stepped out on the trail, I slipped. You can't even stop yourself. It just is so slick. I slipped and I fell on my butt, and I had this white silt all over me the whole day. So the guy that details our van, of course I got in here and sat down. He was like, "What happened in your van?" I'm like, "Oh, I fell." It was great. It was awesome. It's 108 now. So, like I said, as we're going a little lower, it's going to get hotter. And later in the day. Lower in elevation, later in the day, it starts getting hotter. Oh. It's basically like 43, I think. About 43. Does it ever get that hot in England? I didn't think so. Oh, okay. almost there. You'll notice there's not a whole lot of vegetation down here because all this salt in the soil. And because it's just really, really hot. Here's Badwater. So when we get out, I want you all to look up at the mountain up here. There's a sign up there that says sea level. Somebody went up and put it up. So we're 282 feet below sea level. However, when they put the sign up, they actually put it about...
Go back to the chopper. This is the last chopper. It's all salt from the ground, man. Oh, that is salt fishing app. My phone is shutting down. It's so hot.